Good evening, everybody. Welcome live to Champ Sports and Spirits. It's another edition of our Coach's Corner show tonight, live from Champs, as we do this, of course, every Wednesday evening. Champ Sports and Spirits, they always have great specials when you're out here. They'll have a special that they'll run throughout every day. They've got noon specials that happen throughout the noon hour. If you come out through the evening, they've got great dinner specials as well. Be sure and stop by if you are out and about on a Wednesday evening. We are located right here in Champs, kind of in the main dining area. You can stop by and kind of catch our show. We do it every Wednesday night, talk Goldbug football here on Coach's Corner. We will, of course, have our Coach's Corner show, and then once that wraps up, we'll head over into another portion of Champs, and they will have the Inside the Lines Ranger Football Coaches Show with head coach Matt Walter. That's Matt Adair and Jesse Klein that will be doing that. Before we get to Coach Schwerdtfiger, I wanted to this is something we've been doing the last probably a week or so. Great opportunity if you're out and about around Alva to win a great Goldbug prize package giveaway. This is a pretty cool thing we're doing. It's called the Goldbug Fan Giveaway. Stop by and we'll list the participating merchants that are a part of this. They have a box set up in their business. Stop by, register. There's no limit to how many times you can register anytime you go in those business. What we're going to do is have a grand prize drawing. The winner is going to get tickets to the November 6th Goldbug game at Perry, which is the last game of the regular season. You'll get gas to the game. You'll get dinner prior to the game. You'll also get snacks and drinks during the game. Plus, going to put you up a night in a hotel in OKC following the game. So you can go from Perry to OKC, kind of make a weekend of it. It's called the Goldbug Fan Giveaway. Again, our winner is going to be drawn on Wednesday, November the 4th. Now, stop by these locations and register. Just put your name down, put it in the little box that's provided. Murrow's Frame Art, Boris Outfitters, Lynn's T-Shirt Factory, Lottie Da, Garnett Oil, Brown Shoe Fit Company, Red's Barbecue, Wild Joe's Frozen Yogurt, and Burlap Bungalow 319. Those are the sponsors of that. So it's a great opportunity to prove you're a great Goldbug fan, and we'll give somebody a pretty cool prize package. Again, we're going to name it live on the radio. That's when we'll draw the winner. That'll be Wednesday, November 4th at 8:45 in the morning. You can listen to my regular show there, and we'll do that then. So wanted to let people know about that. Coach, we bring you in. I would imagine we've got a lot of good Goldbug fans out there. We've proven that, but great opportunity for somebody to win a great prize package.
So now, if I register for that, will you let me know?
Sure.
I win?
You're going to be there at the
I'll
game.
Be there.
So, we'll just add that on to it.
Go out to dinner after we win, and that'll be right after we, make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And, we stay in a hotel. Was that Fire Lake Casino? Is that where you
I'm assuming it's your choice of the money that we provide.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there's a specific given
concert that came with that, or
exactly.
I wasn't sure. Okay,
but
that is a cool deal, though. That's pretty neat. That's really neat.
So
actually.
Anybody's listening, they can come out and get in. Plus, get into those folks that are good supporters of Goldbugs as well. So great opportunity. Coach, we welcome you in. Of course, we'll kind of. Let's start with OCS, obviously. Last Thursday night, the fall break game, the non-district game, we knew that going in.
Yeah.
One of those games where we were shorthanded in some areas. Obviously, didn't have Austin at all, and we'll kind of get to his status in just a little bit as we're getting closer, I think, to at least knowing something on him, but had to shuffle around the offensive line with injuries and sickness and things like that.
Yep.
All things being considered, though, and obviously starting a freshman quarterback, I felt like as I look back on that game even now, they obviously had a great drive right off the bat. Their first drive went, I think, 88 yards in 9 plays. But after that one drive, that's honestly the best drive they had all night.
Oh, yeah,
I feel like defensively we played really solid, and 2 of their other drives came off of short fields. And it was only 14-0 at halftime, 14-0 going into the fourth. So I really felt like your kids battled really all night long, especially from that defensive perspective.
I did. I was proud of him. I told Coach Turner, he's a great guy. If anybody's not familiar with OCS, this is a team that is in their third season removed from a state title.
Yes.
Semifinals last year.
Yes.
They're a great program. They're moving up to 3A next year. And I thought going into the game, I told Coach Turner, and everybody had heard us say we're going to try to play JV the second half.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, Coach, I lied to you. We're going to be JV the first half.
Right.
Because we're starting, and I didn't mean that against the players.
No,
we started 4 sophomores on the offensive line, freshman quarterback, and our other tailback's a sophomore that runs in and out of there.
Yes.
I mean, we're just so young offensively, and we were banged up defensively. Didn't have Tanner White to help any.
Didn't have Kennedy McKnight, right.
Ridge is battling some injury. We're trying to keep him healthy. I just told him, I said, hey, man, when we go, the young kids in the second half, it's going to be a lot of the same.
Right.
And he knew that, and he's a good guy. And, all things being considered, it was 7-0 right before halftime.
Yeah, but a minute left.
I think a minute left. They scored to make it 14.
And that was after, I think, we had been back deep in our end, punted against the wind, and they got it on the 42-yard line.
Yeah, and had a short field. Yeah, and the wind was bad, and, everybody, I don't know if you knew, but I took the wind to start the game. I knew we were given an extra possession, but I thought it was worth it. You wouldn't have thought they would have went 88 yards into the wind the first time. But it took us a little bit to get acclimated to that. And plus, we're playing with Justin Meyer at outside linebacker who hadn't been out there all season. He'd been in a little bit different position, and it took him a while to get acclimated to what they were doing. He had some things that he did really well for us, and we're proud of him. He got injured, has a cracked arm. He's in a cast. So he's out this week.
Right.
He cracked a bone in his arm. So, we're just battling the injury bug. We can't catch a break right now.
Well, in week 8 of the season, too, or we're getting ready for week 8 of the season, it's a game of attrition almost in the injury department when you get to this stage a lot of times because of how football is just from a physical standpoint.
It is. And one of the guys you're fixing to talk to, here, Chance, we had to move him back to linebacker this week because of injuries. Just blatantly injury. And so, he's going to try to play some linebacker for us. He's done a great job this week. He's a kid we have a lot of faith in and comes ready to go every day, which is, a reason why he's here today talking to you. Hey, Chance, does either one of you guys have your driver's license? Yeah. So you got 2 players of the game sitting here that are not old enough to drive here.
Right.
So what does that tell you about the future?
It tells. I think it tells we're in good. We're in pretty good shape. It tells you
we're in pretty good hands. It's pretty exciting, honestly.
It is.
And these 2 kids here, they are warriors. They're good. They're great kids. They're students of the game, and we're just lucky to have Chance here and Mitchell doing what he's doing, and he's getting better every snap.
Yeah.
Every snap he's getting better.
Well, and I felt it was, and we talked about it in last week's show, and then it played out that way. I thought it was just great for him to have an entire football game, start to finish, every single snap. He was out there. Yes, made some mistakes, but I thought really progressed as the game went on. Ran the ball really hard, was our second leading rusher, scored the 1 touchdown, which happened in the fourth quarter, and just, again, made progressions, I thought.
He did. And like I said, going into that game, and I didn't want to, we talked about it all week. I said, I don't want people to think we're not going in this game wanting to win.
Sure.
But our goals to get out of this game are different than a normal district game. We want to win the game, but we're trying to get experience. We're trying to get guys in positions to get ready for the next 3 games, make a run, see what we can do, get out of it healthy. And really, we did all those things. We got out of it healthy. We got a lot of great experience. Let's all keep in mind, you and I have said we're putting last year to bed, but I was reminded by their coach, who I have a lot of respect for, after the game. He stopped our staff and said, gentlemen, I want you to know I've never seen in my years of coaching a turnaround like these kids have had in a year. He said, I've just never seen it.
Yeah.
And so that has a lot of he said, your kids play hard. And I didn't realize, coaches always say that to you.
Sure.
But he said, coaches also call other coaches that you've played and said, hey, what'd you think? And apparently the word about us is, hey, those dudes play hard.
Right.
He says, your kids play hard. And
that's the one thing you've really wanted to push.
Yes.
Beyond anything else. Yes. Beyond X's and O's. Beyond, what we're going to do offensively, defensively, plays we're going to make, plays we're not going to make. Beyond anything else, knowing that you're a hard-nosed football team and that people are going to know they've stepped on the field against you.
Yes, exactly. And we got that. If you saw OCS in the fourth quarter of that game, they scored on a reverse.
Yes.
A reverse, okay, in a non-district game.
Yes.
Against a team they were beating 62-0 at halftime.
The year before.
The year before. Halftime score.
Yes.
And they had to score on a reverse in the fourth quarter.
And that was also on a short field, by the way.
And it was. And they were way excited. I mean, they were excited to get out of there with a win. And so that tells you right there, they knew they were in a dogfight. We know our kids played well. They played hard. I was proud of them. We got what we needed out of that game. I would love to have got the win, but we got what we needed. We're getting more experience. This has been a pretty good week of practice, honestly. But as far as, putting OCS behind us, I think it was a great thing for us to go play them like we did, because when people look, the other thing is people have misconception of that record. Yeah. I heard somebody say, "Oh, well, you guys will be okay this week." I said, "Well, where did you get that information from?"
Yeah.
Well, we just looked at the record. Well, their 4 losses that they have, and you and I talked about it.
Yes.
Are from 4 ranked opponents.
Yeah.
And 3 of those teams, 2 of them are still undefeated. One of them has 1 loss. The other one is Millwood with 1 loss,
yes.
I believe. 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I think 1, just 1 loss.
I think they've just got 1 last I knew. Yeah.
So,
going into last week, it was just 1.
They're like 24-3 or 24-2.
The
with
combined
records of the teams they've lost to.
Yes.
So, I mean, they're a quality football team. They're good enough to go get second in their district and upset somebody. So that's exciting for us to know, and our kids to know that, hey, we can go battle those guys. Yeah. We can get it right in the mix of them. And like I told our kids, I said, our 4 losses are against quality opponents.
Yep.
There's nothing to hang your head about. You were not in the Chisholm game in the second half.
No.
There was not a way we were going to win that game.
Yeah.
We battled. Don't get me wrong. We did battle them, but we were not going to be able to win that game. The rest of the games, we've been in that. We've been in the fight. We've been in the fight. So that's exciting, and that's good to know that when we go to these last 3, our kids do know how to fight. They do know how to come back from adversity. They've done that in several games, and they've handled it, and it's exciting. Looking forward is something that we have on our belt that we haven't had.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk from an injury perspective. We usually do that a little bit later, but I wanted to, because as we mentioned, there were so many missing pieces last week to some degree. Anything, what has been cleared up, or if it has, in terms of injury situation as you get ready for this game a couple of nights? Well,
Justin Meyer's out. Okay, we don't have Justin. Tanner White is back.
Okay, good.
Kennedy McKnight was released today.
Okay.
But the bad thing about that is the kid hadn't taken rest for 2.5 weeks.
Right.
Today was his first day, and it showed. And that really, really hurts. When you get into play this game against this offense, your linebackers have got to be in tune. And they've got to be rolling. And so that really hurts us. It helps us to get him back because we don't have Justin. Ridge is banged up. I mean, he's been playing with some injury for a while now. But he's battling through it, and he'll be fine. He's a tough kid. Austin is up in the air. We don't know yet.
That was the one that obviously we knew that we can pretty much say he's done quarterback. I think is that or is that not for sure?
It's pretty safe to say that. The advice that we're getting is along those lines, but the MRI will show more.
Right.
At this point, we'll know more hopefully tomorrow morning on the extent of his injury. And it turned out the good thing is they wanted the MRI. They were not able to go in there and diagnose it by just a shoulder injury.
Okay.
At this point, they're thinking it could be some other things that are causing that.
Okay.
And so it could be really good. It could be bad.
Yeah.
I'm really leaning towards the good with him. I mean, obviously, hopefully, and he ran around a little bit today and looked really good doing it.
His dad mentioned last night there might be even something neck related.
Well, some nerves is what they're thinking. Some nerve. So hopefully that's the case, and he comes out of it and we get him cleared, and we're trying to make the best decision for him for the future.
Sure.
Too. I mean, this season is what it is. We're trying to get in the playoffs. Everybody knows that. But if we can keep him healthy, and something that he doesn't have to have a 6-month recovery from. I mean, we're trying to keep him to where he can get in the off season and get healthy and continue on. But that's really the extent of it. Trevor Allison is still banged up from the shoulder. I mean, he's battling that. Max Parsons went to the doctor today with staph.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, in his leg from we think might have been a spider bite and gotten staph. Gosh. I mean, we just
and this is a kid that's really been stepping in and
he's played really well in those last
exactly.
And so his is up in the air on whether they're going to clear him or not. I mean, we're just really, really thin right now. I mean, it's just bad luck, man. I don't know how else to say it. We don't have all our guns. They're not all out there. but we've had a lot of kids step up and step back in places. We just got to get them going. I mean, I hope it doesn't take us 2 quarters to get everybody back in sync.
Right.
Because that Tonkawa's not going to wait 2 quarters.
Yeah.
They're good enough offensively to go down, march down the field and score, boom, 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 just like you saw OCS do. I mean, they're very similar to what they do, and they're explosive. Those quarterback and tailback are extremely explosive. So we've got to be dialed in early in the game and be ready to roll.
Absolutely. So one more kind of at least big practice tomorrow, and might be doing it in the rain. Might be doing it with the swimming trunks on or something like that, the galoshes. But then I think the good thing is I think weather for Friday is looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's supposed to clear up by 5.
Clear up mainly, with a couple of slight chances for rain, but not anything major. So that'll be good. Plus, and this is something I know we'll talk about, but I mean, last home game, more than likely, maybe of the season, but certainly of the regular season, with senior night and all those things going in. That's going to be another, emotional jolt, if you will, with that type of game being the last time you'll see this field for maybe a long time.
It is, and for the seniors, they got to open up the year with this facility in the new program, the new look, the new culture, everything. They got to open it up, and I think they definitely want to go out with a win on this field. I mean, there's no doubt about it, and 99% chance that we're not back on this field. I mean, even if we roll in and get third in the playoffs and win out, it's just not gonna happen. I mean, Chisholm and Hissey are not going to get upset, and even if they do, they own the tiebreaker. You
would ultimately have to win a couple games in the playoffs, more than likely.
Yes.
That would be the only way probably you're getting back.
There is a chance we could win a first-round game if we get in third. Even if we got in fourth and upset the one, we'd be guaranteed a home.
Right.
But these are all scenarios that a lot of things have to happen. But yes, I mean, there's a good chance that this is our last home game. And so our kids are aware of that. The grind has hit a little bit. We've been going hard since May.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to get them to dial in here the last 3 weeks.
Well, and you think of the grind, and then you think of throwing in some of the injury stuff, and that probably not only the physical part, but then the mental part starts to get to you at this stage. I would imagine
it does. It really does. And our kids, I feel like maybe haven't been pushed like this long.
I agree.
And so that takes a lot of adjusting to that too. I mean, and expectations of us are high, and so we're not ready to get the basketballs out.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I'm just as big a fan of basketball as anybody around here.
I got
you know that. I love it, but I'm not ready to go in the gym and smell the popcorn yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm ready for this. Is football weather.
Yes.
It's just
we're finally now getting to football weather.
And that's why I try to
get waiting for that.
Yeah. I try to get these guys. Somebody said it the other day. They're like, Coach, how does it feel to play 15 games in a season? Because I was fortunate enough to do that quite a few times. Yeah. And I said, well, guys, usually what it means is right about now is about halfway. I mean, and you kind of as a coach and a player, you're like, okay, now we're getting ready to roll now. And you're like, most teams are like, oh well, we just got a couple of games left. We got to get that attitude out of our minds. We've got to be ready to progress into the next step, and we've got a huge step to take to get to the playoffs after what we've come from. But I think we can do it. I mean, I really do. I wouldn't say that if I didn't think so. We can get there. So it's exciting. I mean, it really is exciting to have this conversation, especially after every coach picked us unanimously to get last in our district.
Of course. And I would say almost to a man, I can't imagine many of them thought we would win a game. I mean, I don't. Maybe a game or two. But, I mean, I'm just saying, I think that's realistic that some people might say they went 0-10, they may go 0-10 again.
Yeah, I think they did. I mean, I really do. I think Thomas made that mistake.
Yeah.
I know that's a long time ago, but I think we got to raise attention after that one.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, I will promise you, make $1 million on the table, we're not voted anything but a playoff team next year.
Yeah.
And so our kids have made a statement. Now I'm trying to tell them that that's not going to be closed unless you finish.
Yes.
You've got to finish. You started out strong. You've had a great season. You've got to finish. There's no shame in losing to the teams that you've lost to. And it's not to say Tonkawa's not a tough team. They are. Yeah. They are. But we should go out there and do what we do and take care of business.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a big one, no doubt. Coach, we'll take a break. We'll send our players to the game over and talk to them. Chance Bratton on defense and Mitchell Meyer on offense, and we'll bring Coach back in for another segment coming up in just a bit. We'll take a timeout. You're listening to our coverage of Coach's Corner live from Champ Sports and Spirits tonight right here on 1430 KELV. All right, let's do a minute. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, awesome. That'll work. Just slide on in there. Chance, Craig Kilman, by the way. How are you?
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you. Now, you moved in from Washington, is that correct? You went to Washington. Did you play for them last year as a freshman? Cool. Just go ahead and stick those on if you would, and we'll. All right, perfect. Mitchell, how are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. All righty. And welcome back to our Coach's Corner show. We are live from Champ Sports and Spirits. Craig Kilman along with you, our in-studio producer tonight, Michael Collins. Don't forget, after our Goldbug show wraps up, we will go over and talk Northwestern football. Matt Adair, Jesse Klein will talk to Ranger football coach Matt Walter. It's their Inside the Lines show that's coming up after ours wraps up here on KELV. Time to talk to our K&K Body Works Northwest Electric Company players of the game from last week. We'll start defensively. Sophomore defensive lineman Chance Bratton, 6 foot, 200-pound sophomore. Chance, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good. Great game for you defensively. 8 tackles, 3 of those for sacks. Really got a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Just give me your overall thought on the game. I know it wound up being a tough game. It was 29-6, but very close game throughout. Give me your thoughts on how the defense played against OCS the other night.
Well, obviously the first drive wasn't very good. They went down and scored immediately, but I think after that we really pulled together and played not to our best ability, but we played a lot better than we did our first drive. And
yeah, I felt like whether it was adjustments or maybe we just got comfortable at that stage, because if you look at the next 3 touchdowns that they scored, they were all on short fields. They scored one right at the end of the first half on a punt into the wind where they had like 42 yards to go. It was 14-0 going into the fourth. They scored on a reverse that was also a short field, and then they scored after an interception for their last touchdown. So, I mean, it was, they didn't drive the field on us the entire length of the rest of the game. I thought from that standpoint we really made good adjustments.
yeah, I was proud of the way we did that, but we didn't do our best.
Of course. Game score shows what it is. That's fine. But, Chance, first of all, I want to talk to you just a little bit. You moved into Alva this year. Tell me just a little bit about that process. You were at Washington a year ago, played for them as a freshman. That's a tradition-rich program, I know. What was it like for you to make the transition from Washington coming up here to Alva? What was that transition like to you? Was there nervousness initially, or how did that all?
I was initially nervous, but when I got in here, I realized that coaches they made us play hard like they did at Washington. There was no difference in the way we play. It wasn't different. I mean,
has it been a pretty easy transition from your family in terms of moving up here and making the switch? Has there been any difficulties with that?
It's been pretty easy because my dad, he grew up in Sealing, so he played there, and I mean, we know people up here.
Sure.
And, both my brothers are one's off at college and one's about to go, so it wasn't very difficult for them.
Yeah. What was it like for you coming in and then going through? You have a chance to go through the full off-season workout with the Bugs this year, like through summer. What did that help you a lot, getting a chance to get acclimated early and go through the whole summer process?
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons we moved up here earlier, so that I could be in here and be with the players and get to know people before I had to go play with them.
Has that? I mean, you're obviously in the sophomore class now, but this team to me feels like a team that's pretty closely knit. I mean, obviously the ones that were here last year went through a lot with that season, but I feel like this is a group that works well together, that there's not a lot of friction. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that when I moved in, it was hard to tell who was a junior, who was a freshman. Everybody was just a part of the team. You helped, you did your part, and everybody took it in stride.
Yeah.
It was good.
This week will be a little bit different, as we talked with Coach Schwett. You're going to move to some linebacker. Give me your thoughts on that switch. I know you've had to go through the practices this week. That'll be a little bit different than being the defensive end or the nose guard, where you've been a lot on the line. But how does that transition look like for you, or what do you think about it?
Well, it's a little bit different, but as Coach Galar puts it, it's a glorified defensive end, so it shouldn't be that much different. And
is it one of the outside?
Yeah, I'm outside.
So you'll still be able to probably do a lot of rushing and a lot of the things that you would do as a D end anyways. It looks like I know that Coach Galar always has a good defensive plan set in place, and I feel like especially from an aggressive, that's the one thing I've loved about this defense, is how aggressive he wants us to play, and that you guys typically play at. So that'll be fun to see for sure. Chance, appreciate it. Great job for you last night. I look forward to seeing you on down the line, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Our thanks to sophomore defensive end. Now for Friday night's game, will be a part of the linebacking crew. Chance Bratton join us again, our defensive player of the game from last week. We'll put the headsets on to freshman quarterback Mitchell Meyer, our offensive player of the game. Mitchell, the second leading rusher for the Bugs last week, 16 carries, 55 yards, had the lone touchdown, also completed 6 of 13 passes for 45 yards. Mitchell, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing pretty dandy. How about yourself?
I am good, absolutely. I want to go back a little bit with you, similar to what I did with Chance. You had a very interesting offseason, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
Your transition from 8th grade to freshman, and I'm talking, of course, about the injury that was a big part of your summer and everything. Not to completely make you relive the whole thing, but what was that like, going through that and then having to kind of get yourself back ready, and certainly knowing that you wanted to be ready by the time football season came around? How was that whole summer process for you getting back healthy?
Well, to start off, it was pretty difficult at the first, but going to Summer Pride in the morning, going to the doctors, the whole team as a family just support me, had my back, and it's just a great family to be around,
Yeah.
They always got your back. They're always picking you up, never letting your head go down, just keeping you positive all the way through it.
I feel like, first of all, the coaching staff, they're coaching you guys hard, but I feel like they that's anytime you're breaking in the huddles, it's all family, and I agree with that, and from the coaching staff on down, it feels that way, and so if it starts from there, the whole group really seems to feel that way.
Yes, sir.
To a man. So talk about, as you got yourself ready at the start of the season, just kind of getting yourself acclimated, and then all of a sudden you find yourself thrown in at the quarterback position, maybe earlier than you thought it might. With Austin coming down, we kind of expected him to go the way. But what was it from your standpoint, your mindset, when he goes down a little bit and you're having to come in? How difficult was it for you to say, okay, now I've got to step in and start to do these things?
Oh, well, coming in the season, I knew I was going to be back up, and I was going to be playing a lot more defense than I was offense first off. So,
right.
When he went down, he was like, I got to start warming up. He's going to get up, he'll be fine, and he just never got back, and so I knew it was my time, get the signals, to start going to work, and just kind of go with the offense.
Well, and the first time that it became real apparent was the Hobart game, and that was an interesting game because he goes down, we're actually trailing at the time, and then you come in and we wind up finishing that game and getting the win on the road. I thought early on that was a good confidence builder for us.
Yeah.
But now it's also a little bit different because that you were coming into a game after he had started, and of course, like last week, you basically took every snap. So what is the difference for you? Was it easier to take every snap, or was it harder to go in when you weren't quite warming up? What worked the best for you?
Probably just getting in there at first, just getting all your reps in, getting all your happy feet out, just kind of calming down with the offense and just keep trying to go your flow,
I felt like against OCS, again, we really started to do some good things. It was a process, as it is with every game.
Yeah.
But I felt like we ran the ball pretty effectively, especially early on. We did some nice things. And then the last touchdown drive, even though the game was what it was at that stage, I thought we made a good drive with a lot of young kids. I mean, really that. And what was interesting about that game, and we had 4 sophomores on the line. We had a freshman quarterback even starting the game. So you guys, I know you've played some JV games and things like that, but you guys really got a lot of experience in that one game just the other night.
Yeah, that was really good for us, just getting all those young guys in there, and for me, getting in there with them, because, I'll be playing with them throughout my high school career, and just getting the flow of the game,
I feel like give me your real quick thoughts on Tonkawa. You've had a chance to work on him some, I know, and you've seen film and things like that from your perspective as the quarterback. As you look at what they do defensively, what are some of the things that you hope you guys can focus on to Friday night?
Putting the ball in the air.
There you go.
Right there, Our line will do their job. I'll do my job, and I know the receivers will do their job. We'll just get the ball in the air and go score.
I think that's about as good as it gets right there.
Yes, sir.
Mitchell, hey, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great job for you. We look forward to seeing you on down the line, just a freshman and sophomore here. That's certainly looks positive for the program for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You bet. Our thanks to freshman quarterback Mitchell Meyer. He was our K&K Bodyworks Northwest Electric Company offensive player of the game from last week. Let's take a timeout real quickly. We'll bring back in Coach Schwerdtfiger and talk a little bit more in depth about Tonkawa, the opponent coming up on Friday night. It's our Coach's Corner show tonight, live from Champs here on KELV. Welcome back to Champs Sports and Spirits. Craig Kilman along with you. Our coverage of Coach's Corner. Again, we'll wrap this up here in just a few moments, and then we'll turn it over to the Ranger Football Coaches show, Inside the Lines. With head coach Matt Walter, Matt Adair, Jesse Klein. We'll have that show coming up momentarily. For a final time, we talked to Coach Schwerdtfiger. Coach, obviously, you and I talked about this down at the football field just not too long ago. Every game from here on out is a playoff game. You look at the standings, obviously Chisholm and Hennessy, those two will play at the end of the year pretty much for that district championship. You would expect that to go down. Pawnee is currently residing in the number 2 spot, and then Tonkawa is 2-2 in the district. We're 1-2 after having stepped out of non-district last week. Tonkawa's 2 wins have been against who you might expect. In district, they've beaten Newkirk, they've beaten Perry. Their only other win was against Blackwell. They've lost to the likes of Morrison, I think Hominy, who's a pretty good team. Anyways, there's a couple other teams I know they've lost to Chisholm pretty soundly. But obviously, at this stage, this is it. I mean, they know it's big for them, and we know it's big for us in terms of this game Friday night. If you want to continue your season, you kind of need to start it if you can by getting that win Friday.
I think you said it. I mean, yes, there is a possibility we get in even if we don't beat Tonkawa. That's a possibility. But you have to go on the road and beat Pawnee at their place, and you have to go to Perry and beat them at their place.
Yep.
And not to say that we can't do either of those, but I think it starts tomorrow. It starts Friday night. So we got them at home. I think we're going to be playing well. It's a great matchup. I mean, honestly, it's going to be a good game because it's 2 teams that are similar in philosophy. They play extremely hard. I mean, no matter what, if they've got a 110-pound kid out there running around, he's going to go and go and go. That's just what Tonkawa brings. That's their culture. And, you're not ever going to get them down. If they're down by 30, they're going to play as hard by 30 as if they're up by 30.
Yeah.
So it's just – that's what you're going to get with them, and our kids know that. Like I said, I know it's going to take us a little bit to get used to the speed of those 2 backs because they can flat out go.
Yeah, let's talk first. Our defense, their offense.
Yeah.
When you break them down, and we talked a little bit about, but talk about the things they like to do, tendency that will go against our defense.
Secondary versus their receivers, we win that matchup. I believe that. They do some things that they can nickel and dime you a little bit, and that's okay because I don't believe that they can put a 12-play drive together. I mean, I really do. I think they're going to get in their own way at some point. But now when you get in the box, they do have some, 2 linemen I think a lot of, one especially. They all get off the ball well. and their quarterback and their tailback. So you talk about playing in the box, we're going to have to play well. They're a very good trap team, very good stretch team, with that quarterback running the ball, and they get to the edge quick, which is something that we've had trouble with the last couple of weeks. So including Chisholm. The thing with Chisholm is there's a little bit misdirection there in their offense to get to that point, but still we've got to set the edge this week, and we've got to squeeze the trap. I mean, Coach Sklar, he's all over it. He's on top of it. He does a wonderful job. But our kids, we're a little.
That's going to be the big issue is the edges. Is that fair to say?
It is, but you've also got Chase Jones and Ethan Harsman are arguably are two of our better defensive players in the middle covering the trap.
Right.
Playing the inside zone and covering up the trap. So hopefully, if we squeeze it well from the inside, D linemen and they flow, and our linebackers step up like they're supposed to, we should be able to cover it. But it happens so fast. They're gonna bust one. I'm just telling you before we get acclimated to it. We've got to do a great job offensively putting drives together, keeping the ball away from them, wearing them out a little bit, and then we've got to finish. I mean, we do a good job sometimes of putting drives together, but we'll get down to the 10, 15, and then we don't do anything with it.
Well, we've seen multiple times where we've had goal line situations where we come out of.
Either we get a touchdown called off or we get a penalty that backs us up and we don't finish. So we've got to do a better job with that. It just has to happen. So we've got to execute in the red zone.
And we talked about this a little bit. I feel like we should have some success running with Hayden Colwell and those guys, but passing might be a situation where we need to do maybe a little bit more in terms of completing passes, especially downfield to open them up a bit. Does that make sense?
I think we have to establish the fact that we can. And with a freshman, you got to take things a little bit slower. I mean, and it definitely has cut back our offense a little bit with bringing him along. But Mitch is getting it every day. He's bringing it in. When the game starts slowing down for him, it's going to happen fast. I mean, he will grasp everything very quickly. Once that light flick, comes on, and he's starting to see it right now. I mean, he had a great week of practice and had a good week last week. Made a poor decision on a boot and threw a pick, and he knew it as soon as it came off. He said, I saw it before I threw it. And so that's good though that he saw that. He's that
recognition,
right? And then he flagged the ball one time, stepped up in the pocket, and got it ripped out on a fumble. I mean, he came back and said, "Hey, I know. I mean, that's our rip drill, coach." So I mean, you got it. He knows, and so all those things have to happen before you can, things come together. Same thing happened with Austin early. He threw a couple at Thomas that he wish he would have had back. It's just a learning thing, and so. We've got to do a good job of putting him in positions to be successful. And I thought, even the second half, like we ran a play-action slant to Braden Gregg, and Gregg dropped it.
But it was
money. I mean, he put it on the money. He had his steps down. He put it right where it needed to be. Gregg.
Those are things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Right.
But when you look at him, you're like, hey, those are good things to see.
Yeah, and he threw a good ball to Seth on the last drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great ball.
He made a great catch, but the ball was perfect.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's coming along, and he's doing a great job. And he's starting to grasp what we're doing. I can tell in practice he's starting to grasp it. He's starting to figure out by alignment and things where we want to go with the ball, and that's good when those things are happening. And he's just going to get better and better and better and better. I mean, he's got a glass ceiling. I mean, the kid's 15 and is a freshman, and I've never had to play a freshman. In any of the places I've been, I've played sophomores, but I've never played a freshman. And I can't imagine if he continues to grow and stays healthy, the level at which he can play at as a junior and senior would be tremendous. So
he's already getting a big jump start on.
He is. And let's go be a playoff team, and let's go have a freshman quarterback that starts for a playoff team, and let's see how good we can be. I'm just telling you. So it's exciting, and he's doing a great job, and we, hey, win or lose this week, I'm leaning towards the win, but I promise we're going to grow and learn from it and still have an opportunity to get in after that. So.
Appreciate it as always, Coach. A fun time, and these are the games now when you get to this point where you can taste the playoffs if you can just do what you've got to do.
This is a game this is why you play the game.
Absolutely.
Right here. This should be. I hope it's packed. I hope it's full. It's going to be the rain's going to be out of here. I hope people come out in droves to watch this game and get loud and get crazy, because this is why you play the game, for games like this right here.
I agree, Coach. Appreciate the time. We'll look forward to seeing you Friday night, and good luck to you.
We'll do. Thanks, Craig.
You bet. Our thanks to Coach Sweat. Again, his team will play Tonkawa, a huge 2A District 1 matchup on Friday night at Ranger Field. Pack Ranger Field, no doubt about it. Get everybody out there. It's going to be a big one. Final home game of the regular season, and it'll be senior night as well. Some very, very good seniors that are going to be taking their last snaps in Ranger Field. Look forward to seeing you then. That's going to do it for our Coaches Corner show. We'll take a time out here in just a few moments. We'll slide over and have Inside the Lines, the Ranger Football Coaches show with Coach Matt Walter and also Matt Adair and Jesse Klein. That's coming up. Hope you have a great Wednesday evening. So long from Champs.